The second thing, just like Richard Nixon said, guns, those damn things. We need to ask ourselves if Americans with mental illness should have access to firearms. What happened here? How did this slip through the cracks? And if any American should have a concealed weapon which can fire 30 rounds without reloading. I will take the liberty tonight to tell you that I own a lot of firearms. I hunt and fish, deer rifles, 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge. I've been doing it for 35 years. It's a part of our life and our family. But I have to tell you, folks, I don't own a pistol, and I couldn't imagine having a firearm because I wouldn't know what to do with 30 rounds. These guns are made to kill people. These guns are made to, I guess, protect people. Whatever way the NRA wants it, that's the way they're going to defend it. We're always the bad guys if we question gun control and laws in this country. Welcome back to the Ed Show. President Obama speaking this afternoon as the horrific shooting unfolded in Tucson on Saturday. A few heroic individuals rushed into the line of fire, risking their lives to prevent even more deaths. One of the people who helped wrestle the gunman to the ground was Joe Zamuto, who joins us now on the Ed Show tonight. Joe, you are a hero. Thank you for doing what you did. You saved lives.
Thank you. I didn't think about it. I just did what needed to be done. I went to go help. I carry a gun, so I feel like I was a little bit more prepared to do some good than maybe somebody else would have been.
Take a moment,
honestly, I didn't
Joe.
think at all.
Joe, take a moment and tell us exactly how it went down. What was the first thing you saw? Did you get in the gunman's face when he was on the ground? Tell us what happened.
Well, as I came out of the door of the Walgreens there, I saw several individuals wrestling with him, and I came running. I was already at a full sprint, and you know, it's no time to think about anything. I saw another individual holding the firearm. I kind of assumed he was the shooter, so I grabbed his wrist and you know, told him to drop it and forced him to drop the gun on the ground. When he did that, everybody says, no, it's this guy, and I proceeded to help hold that man down. You know, he's trying to squirm, but not very hard. Or at least it didn't seem like he was trying very hard to me. I'm a big guy, though. I'm 220, and I was holding him down, so...
Did he say anything? Joe, did he say anything? Did he mutter any words? Did he show any expression at all?
No expression. His face was the same the whole time. Even when he complained, he says, ow, you're hurting my arm. It seems like it otherworldly. It didn't even seem like it came from him because his face stayed calm. He was emotionless.
How chaotic was it?
It was pretty chaotic. I mean, there was a lot of people wounded. There was blood everywhere. It was really disturbing thing to witness. The most disturbing thing I've ever been a part of in my life. All those people hurting and crying and asking for loved ones. I mean, this is a horrible event. This is a terrible thing for our community.
Did you ever think of drawing your firearm, or you made the determination you didn't have to?
Sir, when I came through the door, I had my hand on the butt of my pistol and I clicked the safety off. I was ready to kill him. But I didn't have to do that, and I was very blessed that I didn't have to go to that place. Luckily, they'd already begun the solution, so all I had to do was help. If they hadn't grabbed him and he'd been still moving, I would have shot him. I almost shot the man holding the gun.
You would have used that firearm?
You're damn right. This is my country. This is my town. You don't get to walk around hurting people, killing innocents and little girls. It's not right, man.
It's horrific. How do you feel about how do you feel about the gun laws in Arizona?
You know, I carry a gun everywhere I go, sir. Honestly, I believe that you can make as many laws as you want. People who want guns are going to get them. You know, laws aren't made for us. They're made for criminals, and criminals can get guns anywhere they want. So you can make as many laws as you want, and it's not going to stop anybody. They can bring it across the border from Mexico. You can get an old one that's not registered. You can steal one. You can buy it out of a trunk. There's no shortage of firearms. That's not the solution. The solution is helping people, taking care of people. You know, not leaving these lone wolf gunmen out to be lone wolves. I mean, he shouldn't be in a situation where he's so alone that this is his only solution. I think that our answer is to help people and not to argue over whether or not we're allowed to own guns. We live in America and we're allowed to own guns. It's not an option. I think go ahead.
Joe, I'm out of time on this segment tonight. I just want to thank you for what you did. It was very courageous, and you saved lives. Joe Zamudio with us tonight here.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, January 10th, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome to part 2 of this news bulletin. I might go into a third part, so just kind of stick with me if you can. If you don't have the time, obviously, you don't understand. I don't know if I'll be able to cover it in this second video, but I thought it was interesting. That he said that when he first came out of that Walgreens that he saw someone with a pistol, and that he realized that he wasn't the gunman. And so that basically, that to me, that tells me that it's a good possibility that there was an individual that was already returning fire, right? It pretty much, I think it verifies this story right here, what Fox Shepherd was saying. So there was already someone there that had handled it. So actually, it was actually the guns. Excuse me. It was actually people that were armed that were the heroes. I mean, I hate to turn it into something like that, but I'm kind of doing my own research, and this is what I'm coming up with. And so you see Ed Schultz there trying to, this happens. This happens in the mainstream media where, everybody is not on the same page, and so you'll have stuff like that, like mistakes, where they'll be like, "Oops, we got this guy on here, and he's actually a staunch, Second Amendment person, who carries a firearm with him," and he's right. The individual was right. It's not even an option not to carry a gun. People are going to find them anyways, and that really, I mean, I agree with them. I think it's a sign of our society. I don't think you can just keep creating laws to prevent people from doing things. I think it's just very telling of what's going on around us in our communities and our society, that basically it is sick and that there's something not right. But we're going to move on here. This says that he was basically charged. And then the next one up is, in wake of Giffords' shooting, the mere act of questioning the government is now being demonized. In the aftermath of a shooting of Gabrielle Giffords in Tucson yesterday, the mainstream media is now desperately trying to blame the attack on anti-government sentiment. USA Today ran a tabloid journalism piece that selectively cherry-picked certain phrases used by Jared Lee Loughner in order to create the impression that he was some sort of anti-government nut. Loughner was actually a mentally deranged individual who ranted about everything from grammar to imaginary birds. And as we move on here, it says here, sheriff blames free speech as likely cause of massacre. In a press conference held hours after the deadly massacre in Arizona, Pima County Sheriff targeted free speech as a likely cause of Saturday's shooting. Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was having a public event when 22-year-old Jared Lee Loughner reportedly approached the crowd and shot 19 people, killing federal judge and 5 others, and including a young girl. And I thought it was interesting that in the previous video that you saw, they were saying how he was such a loser and he couldn't do anything. And that, and then in the other video, you had MSNBC with Keith Olbermann saying that that it was like the other shooters, assassins. It was very rare that they actually caught the assassins. Like they were patsies, right? Most of them were patsies, whether it was Sirhan or a Kennedy shooter. Oswald, they're usually the same thing, right? They usually give them three names, right? And then they're usually losers who can't do anything in life. They failed out of the military. They always say that they failed out of the military, and then somehow they're able to carry out this operation. So we also were told that one individual was a taxi driver. I don't know what it is. He probably was a taxi driver, but there was just something telling me when I seen him, and it was all over the mainstream media, almost as if, like I said, the mainstream media, the media complex, the propaganda complex, who fixes the facts in real time, they're not always on the same page. So I'm wondering if they weren't exactly sure whether they were going to go with a second shooter or not, right? So eventually, I saw on the internet and YouTube and that, basically people saying, oh, no, it was verified, he's just a taxi driver. And you look at him and he does just, I don't know, he's a dude in his, mid to late 50s. I don't know, to me he does look like he could be some kind of clandestine or something like that, kind of like his handler. And then you look at that picture of him that was released from the jail, because of course it was rare. He wasn't actually in court. He was doing a video feed from a jail cell. It's another odd fact here. And you look at his face, and he had the one big bulging eye, and then the closed eye. And to me, that it's kind of significant, because I think it's kind of associated with mind control, or behavior modification. This says, debate on gun control heats up after a Giffords shooting. The shooting of Giffords has sparked an inevitable debate about gun control. Arizona has few restrictions on gun purchases and gun ownerships. Giffords, a Democrat, was a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. So you can check that out. It says, could tighter gun laws have saved lives in Tucson? Well, actually, it was because people have guns that saved lives. So, but I'm not even going to read that crap. Waste yours and my time. Carolyn McCarthy readies gun control bill, says one of the fiercest gun control advocates in Congress. Carolyn McCarthy pounced on the shooting massacre in Tucson, Arizona Sunday, promising to introduce legislation as soon as Monday targeting the high-capacity ammunition clip the gunman used. Next up, Mexico gun ban results in highest number of murders in Mexican history. This is from December 6, 2009. Let me repeat that. Mexican gun ban results in highest number of murders in Mexican history. So you can check that out. It says a recent increase in drug-related violence in Sonora has U.S. law enforcement officials and others experts worried that the state soon may find itself in the company of other northern Mexican states where vicious confrontations have killed more than 100. All right, so we're going to move on now. We're done with that. Emanuel wants more cops, but opposes shifting district resources. It says Rahm Emanuel said today he would add 1,000 new police officers to Chicago's streets if he was elected mayor, but he will not move cops from neighborhoods where they are deployed to more crime-ridden areas. So check that out. Rahm Emanuel most likely will be the next mayor. I just had one of Daley's family members become the chief of staff for Obama as Rahm Emanuel leaves the chief of staff position, so it's kind of a revolving door. Nigeria's secret police returned columnist passports. A newspaper columnist who had his passports taken by Nigeria's secret police says they have been returned. Next up is Patriot Act, a Nazi law. Ex-CIA official says the United States Patriot Act is similar to the legislations carried out by the Nazi Germany in the World War II era. A former CIA officer says the Patriot Act was similar to legislation carried out by the Nazis because essentially it was using terrorism in both cases as an excuse to strip civil liberties that were enjoyed in both countries, in the United States and Germany. Philip Heraldi said in an interview with Press TV. British government tightens grip on Britons. The UK government is tightening grip on the British people in various aspects of their lives, from economy to social liberties, education, health, and security. Said the government's policies, including its austerity drive, which covers each and every corners of the people's being, the rise in university tuition fees and cuts to higher education, police schemes to ban protests altogether, that's right, which is considered as a serious blow to the so-called democracy, imposing restrictions on how and who votes, again considered as depriving a person from an inalienable right as the part of the nation's human rights, giving permission to police forces to sneak through people's life, and the most humiliating of these control orders, which prompted an international cry and call for them to be abolished. As here, international human rights campaigners have unanimously condemned the British government for carrying out one of the most serious violations of natural injustice in any developed democracy by renewing the so-called control order. Some background: the control order was produced by the UK Home Secretary to restrict an individual's liberty for the alleged purpose of protecting members of the public from a risk of terrorism. And that's what they're doing now. That's what they're getting out of this Arizona law. I forgot to mention that. So basically, you can't say anything about politicians anymore now because of that shooting if they pass that bill. So please join me in part 3 as we finish off this news bulletin. This is GGN, and I'm Darko.